Today is August 3rd, 2018. Get ready for the Emergency Broadcast System, the Forbidden History Series, what they didn't want you to know, but we tell right here. We now interrupt your normally scheduled programming to bring you this very important deprogramming program. Special thanks to YouTube.com for hosting the Forbidden History Series. Please note that the following views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily the views nor the opinions of the Master Force Group, YouTube.com, Free America Radio Network, our sponsors, our partners, and MFG's Private Society. Nothing here is ever to be construed as medical nor legal advice. And listen to the Forbidden History prime time 7 days a week right here on the realpublicradio.net, because hidden beneath the sands of time lies the greatest of all mysteries. It's the Forbidden History. Unearth for yourself the secret truths that lie hidden just beneath the surface below our feet. What is it that the powers that be do not want you or I to know? Come and journey with us as we explore and dare to know, because it's all right here, coming to you twice a day, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, on the realpublicradio.net, Free America Radio Network. Stand by for the broadcast. Still time to call your friends, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from Studio Z at the Lighthouse in Central Ohio, in the heart of Amish country, and Free America Radio Network, in the land of dreams, enchantments, and nightmares. It's the Forbidden History Series. The words that kill, the great lies of history, the ABCs of light, the duality in patterns and pictures, and a whole lot more, ladies and gentlemen. We are the deprogramming program, because somebody has to do it. It's a battle for the mind. For the truth is light, but ignorance, it is darkness. And these are the great antagonists, the one against the other. Special Great Lie of History today. We'll be talking about whether only 144,000 can actually be saved, or is it more than that? What is that all about? The great misinterpretation of a piece of scripture there. But once we can begin to comprehend the true nature of things, then we can begin to comprehend that there is nothing more to complain about. We simply need to know, ladies and gentlemen, and then we can know how to deal with it. But if you don't know where you're going, then any road will get you there. And welcome to the Forbidden History Series, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Desert Owl, a bird who sees in the night. And we had a great program last night with Alan David and the occult nature of number 5 and how it's hiding within all of our society. So we'll have him on every Thursday night if you missed it, and just go hear the replay from last night. Okay, and the great lies of history, ladies and gentlemen, what they have done to to mess up our perspective on the real nature of this world and how it is run and what is important and all these things. It is truly an enigma, and we have to come out survivors and winners. We can fall victim to fate, or we can reach up towards our destiny, which is to go back to the light of truth, the light of reason, and the great light of the Father through His Son Yeshua, the Mashiach. So in the book of Revelations, originally called Apocalypse, they seem to change the names throughout time for some reason. I guess they don't want us getting pictures. But the Apocalypse, or the book of Revelation, in there it talks about the 144,000. And so the 144,000 has a parallel. Well, first of all, let me just say, that people, some people have, and I think it's a part of the doctrine of the Jehovah's Witnesses, but it's also been ingrained in people's mind that for some reason, only 144,000 people can be saved. But there is a symbolic meaning behind it. It's not a literal. It's not a literal. It is implying perfection within the number. It's implying perfection, and the reason is back in there's a parallel back in the Old Covenant when Joshua was going to do battle. He took 12,000 out of each tribe, and so when you add 12 times 12,000, you get 144,000. Being that it was a perfect number and an identical within each tribe is symbolizing perfection within life, within nature, and so that's an interesting parallel. Then in the Old Covenant, then we've got it in the Book of Revelations. But we have to know certain things, elements that of how these numbers and words are used. Okay, so first of all, we have Yeshua being referred to as Emmanuel, and Emmanuel is they say God with us. That's the watered down version, but it means more literally the year our great Father of enlightenment came to visit us. The year or the age, the great Father of enlightenment came to visit us. So so now there's a thing with in gematria, meaning that words and letters are equal to numbers, and you can add up letters and get a numerical value of any given word. Well, they also did it with phrases. And so in the ancient time, when somebody would die, they would put the year on the gravestone through a slogan or a statement like, he loved his children well, and then when you add up the letters, it gives the year that this individual died. So in gematria, for there is a number that has to do with. I should have got the book out 1 to 0 because they did a chapter on it. And good morning, Ninja. Good to see you. So, but basically, 144,000 in gematria means the year or the age our Father left us. But He taught us to do battle. Is the essence of that, because the Father came as Emmanuel, and then He goes back up to the throne of the Son in the metaphor, and to rule the earth as His footstool, where He has received all power. So so the 144,000, 12,000 out of each tribe is strictly referring to perfection. Okay, it's all it comes down to. And so the age our Father left us, 144,000, it implies that He didn't leave us, in spirit. He left us physically. Of course, that was Yeshua when they said, "Show us the Father, and we'll be happy." And he says, how long have I been with you? But you haven't known me. But it was necessary for him to leave. And so the year our Father left us is what 144,000 means, or the age. But it was only in the flesh that he left. He came, he conquered the flesh, conquered the self, and showed us how to do it. And then he transcended, conquered death, and went back to the throne of light. Okay, and so that's all it amounts to, the perfection that we have to put on within our nature and our being in order to be able to overcome this world. The first aspect of doing battle is being able to see the truth beyond all the lies, right? To see the truth. So so it is a struggle that we're in. But the 144,000, if only 144,000 people could be saved, then it would show that there is impartiality, or that that the Father is not. It doesn't matter whether you've purified your heart and your life and done the right thing. If once the door is closed, the door is closed. But it's open to anyone who will purify their heart and their mind, and is willing to follow the pure path that Yeshua has led us down. So that's the good news. Okay, so this 144,000 people only can be saved as purely man's misinterpretation of something far deeper. Okay, and so there's a great life history for you, ladies and gentlemen, and want to welcome any new listeners on the call. I failed to post correctly the time I would be on today, and so I know a lot of people probably missed it, so I apologize for that. And let's see here. So we're into the words that kill in the book, The Piracy of Words. And I hope you're doing okay today, Ninja. I know you were going through a difficult time yesterday, and I hope that's working out for you. I hope you're able to pull things together. And if you're trying to strategize anything, you're always welcome to call me on the side. If you're just need to try to figure stuff out. Okay, so the words that kill, ladies and gentlemen, the words that kill. They killed us with words, and they kill us with more than that. On the path to truth. Good to see you. I think this is your first time here, at least on the chat room. And Sandra out in Australia as well. Hey, my fev humans. Okay. Well, human means of the earth, so it's sort of like saying dirt. So my favorite dirt. Give me a break. Okay, we're just doing words that killed. You killed us with the word right there, Sandra. That's where they have the Department of Human Resources, because the Department of Human Resources here, in the U.S. means the Department of Mineral Resources. That's what it means. And anyway, that just shows how crazy these words are. We're sentient being, and but anyway, I get it, and I sure appreciate your stopping by, just having a little fun with those words they killed us with. So, and by the way, anybody's welcome to call in with a comment or a question before I get into these words that they killed us with. And the phone number here is 608-566-7295. That's 608-566-7295. And if you have a great life history that you'd like to share, you've discovered a lie, how we're being lied to, or if you have a word that they killed us with, or that you're trying to unravel, we can talk about that here. I'd love to do that. And so let's see here. So yeah, out of the book, The Piracy of Words, which I drafted a few years ago, and I know I'll never publish it. I just figured, why not do the oral version? We're on now the Great Flood. And there's a picture of the Great Flood right there, by the way, on the screen. You see that Mediterranean Sea, the sea in the middle of the land. I did a presentation on that. And okay, Ninja. So that flood you can see from Spain and Morocco at the Strait of Gibraltar, where the Atlantic Ocean flooded in when Europe and Africa split apart. 4,000 miles. A flood went 4,000 miles, and so much water filled up the Mediterranean basin that my state of New Jersey came on the map because it was right there on the seashore. And you know, so anyway, go back and look for that map on that earlier production a month ago. Look for that map of the Mediterranean, and then you'll be able to hear that presentation. Okay, but let's see what my notes are. I'm surprising myself with some of my notes in this draft I did 5 years ago. So the Great Flood, the Mediterranean Sea, which means the sea in the middle of the land, an event which occurred when Africa and Europe split apart in the days of Noah. See, we are in the same cosmic flatline phase and shift right now that he was in then. And my note regarding that is, you know, I was observing this cosmic stuff and came to realize that, you know, that whatever's happening today is very much in parallel to what happened back in Noah's day. And so I was pretty well concluding that this Nemesis slash Nibiru, you know, was on a 5,250 year cycle, give or take. And but apparently it comes at different locations within our solar system. It doesn't always come close to the Earth, so it may be as much as every 350 years. It could be, but nonetheless, we're dealing with an enigma of a cycle that continues to reoccur. And even David Attenborough, the foremost naturalist, he indicated that every 100,000 years, Africa and Europe bump back together, and then they, because the evaporation is so great and there's not enough river to flow into it to keep it filled, that within a 30,000 year period or so, the water will evaporate. The water will evaporate from the Mediterranean basin, and then you have a deep low-lying valley down there. So this is a cycle that's been going on throughout history. What's interesting is David Attenborough's video presentation disappeared because they didn't want him telling that story. They don't want people knowing that the Mediterranean, the sea in the middle of the land, is the Great Flood. And it was so great, in fact, that it flowed over there in Greece and Turkey right there into the Black Sea, and the Black Sea became twice as big as a result of this Great Flood. Okay, so nobody's telling that story. I'm amazed that nobody has seen this other than myself, and even mythology supports it. Even the archaeological evidence supports it. There's like 200 civilizations underwater, you know, that have been identified. So so it's all an open secret. Okay, there is no secret other than nobody's telling the story other than myself. Okay, so now the judgment. The judgment. 1, the judgment. 2, the good men. Good men, pronounced good men. That's another way of pronouncing it, you know, the way they've messed up our words here. 3, this is the pure judgment. The judgment is now, and that you are going to do right. The judgment has already been given to you. You know, we get this picture of the judgment as like some, you know, at one point, after it's all said and done, we all stand in line and we have our ticket. And, you know, I got number 10,400,000, you know, waiting in line. But that's not the way the judgment works. Good morning, Mew Mew, out there in Venezuela. So the judge, you know, in other words, the great judge did the most profound thing. The great judge decided he was going to make us our own judges. Okay, so the great judge sits back and reigns, or rules, however you want to say it. But Anna, good to have you. Okay, but the great judge made us our own judges, so we will be the judge within our own affair as to whether we want to transcend this world. That's the judgment. Okay, that's the judgment. It's so simple. You decide where you want to go. It's in your hand. The kingdom is in hand. They corrupted it by at hand, but it's in hand. It's in your hand. What you do with it is your business. So continuing on the judgment. 4, the world is dead and has been condemned already. The world's already condemned, right? What did Yeshua say? I came into the world, you know, not to condemn the world, but to save the world. The world's already condemned. Yeah. Okay. Everything that we have been given. It's like we've got all of these misconceptions based on the improper teaching and the propaganda that's been instituted by the world rulers. Bottom line. And so it's a work to overcome it. It's a work, but it can be done. Okay, but we have to define everything by words. That's how the shavors. Okay, so continuing here. 4, the world is dead and has been condemned already, and the people of the world are the walking dead, who are asleep with their eyes closed, walking with their eyes closed, with merely an existence within the void of the outer darkness, which is where they are if they're not in the Mashiach, where there's nothing but pain, loneliness, suffering, crying of tears of regret, and clenched teeth, unless they have found the true light. See the outer darkness where there is weeping and gnashing of teeth. Come into the light of truth. And then, gee, I got a big one here. I think I'll do this. You'll find this interesting. The game of chess was invented in India, and it is the game that they're playing. That's the game where they pit nation against nation, and they don't know that they're all being manipulated, other than the secretary, and they're the secret agents that are participating in the charade. Just like Trump doesn't run anything. He's not the president. He's the showpiece. Trump is the showpiece. He's just there's a government behind the government doing all the things that they use America to do. They're one world whipping boy. Keep everybody in line. We're in what, over 150 nations of the world? I mean, who do you know what I'm saying? So anyway, so the word guess is synonymous with the word chess. Chess in that sense means, guess. Why? Because you're going to make a move and we don't know where you're going to move. Another name for chess, guess. And the game that they have been playing on the board of the world since the Aryan sky gods, avatars, were manifest upon the earth. The queen, the woman, the hidden woman, Indra, Indrani, India, Adonai, backwards. She has all power. That is, the limited power on earth. She's been given power to do her damage here and to play the game of darkness. Manifest through the ancient Aryan Brahmin priesthoods, hoots, owls. They claim to be owls, but they don't give a hoot. She can make any move anywhere on the board. That's the queen. She's the most powerful piece. Isn't that interesting? And go as far as she would like to go in any direction. The kings and princes of the world, including presidents, have no power. They can only run and hide and move one space at a time. Some king, it keeps them in check. Yeah, some king. Yeah. I mean, even the Queen of England bows down to the Lord Mayor of London. Shows you who's holding the keys. On one space at a time is how the let me read here. On both sides of the king and the queen, you have the bishops. There's your religion. Because the priesthoods are men, women, bishops, and represent both the light, their phony light, and their real mother of darkness, the mother of darkness. They are in the main front of the beast system and control all the religions of the world, all of them. That includes books and translations. They move diagonally, which is not straight. Yeah, remember those bishops, how they move? Diagonally and not straight. In other words, they slip through the crack, right? When you go diagonally, it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's the unnatural way to move. Okay, where are we at here? And so the knights are the Kinites of the secret societies in the layers of the onion as dogs running for their master. They have secret moves. That's the L shape, right? The L shape, and there's your illuminated. L, illumination, L shape. The knights, they're in the darkness, right? That's why they call them knights. They're in the darkness. Okay, and so they got the secret move. They can move forward and then move right or left. Whoa, that's a knight for you. And can even they have the secret moves and can even jump over other pieces. Yeah, actually can jump over other pieces in the symbol of the L. L-E-L for the merchant goddess. And that god dressing is symbolized as the castle. The cast of the L, the cast of the illuminated. That's where the knight comes out of. He comes out of the cast L, the illuminated. The cast of the L, the symbolically the Egyptian obelisk, as the sun Dayal. She moves in the 4 cardinal points in straight line. The castle, Rook, for rock, because a castle is made out of rock, so it's called the Rook when it means rock. And Rule, Chi are all the cast of the L and are all interrelated, coming from the city of masks. Oh, the city of masks would be Venice. And that's where all the current royal families came out of, Venice, after they annihilated all of the Celtic in Europe. Then they moved into Europe with the Aryan Illuminati, and they came out of Venice after they designed their plans. 3, chest. And Venetian, by the way, does sound like Phoenician, if you notice. So nothing changed. It's just the same game, change the words a little bit and keep on trucking. 3, chest, where you hide all of your secrets. So chess, also, if we add the sound of the T, we get chest. So there's many meanings in that word chess, where you hide all of your secrets. C, the greatest show on earth. Oh yeah, and almost forgot. And you know who those pawns are, right? That's right, the pawns. We're the pawns, aren't we? The peons. Pawns equals palms. So you can hear the word palm in the word pawn, because they use their hands to do their dirty work. So the pawns are the palms. And there's your 5 again, okay, like we talked about last night, the 5. For all of the slave labor that have been controlling, they have been controlling, and ends with the mind from the beginning of time, and that's how the game is played. Slaves who think they are free will even die for them. Slaves who think they are free will even die for them. And so an amazing world we have here, ladies and gentlemen. Amazing. I hope everybody's doing okay out there. I know everybody in our planet seems to have something going on in their life that is challenging and traumatic, and if you don't, you're very fortunate. But life is about to get traumatic for all of us. I have no doubt about it. You got to be able to read the signs. What do you want to talk about? The political signs, the cosmic signs. You know, it's all around us, all around us. So let's do a book review out of the Real Da Vinci Code Etymological Dictionary that I share with you here every day, and we're going to go into the Hegelian dialectic. Okay, I'll just take a sip of my Java here. And you did tell your friends about the broadcast, right? Okay, thank you for that. They're coming for me, ladies and gentlemen, but they are coming for you. So the more we can see the enemy, the more we can know the enemy, the more we can be set free from the enemy. Theirs is an illusion, and once we know what they really are all about, why would we give them any more of our time, right? The phony government. The governments are all Freemasonic, basically, okay? All of them. Freemasonic, that's a subversive, organized clique against mankind. So it's a super sovereignty, where they get away with murder by giving the Grand Hailing sign. where they're told that they can, in their blood oaths, that they can lie in the courtroom even to protect a fellow Mason. Oh yeah? While they railroad innocent people? While they railroad innocent people. That's an amazing world. Hegelian dialectic, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Here we are. Hegelian dialectic. Hegelian dialectic. There's the word ek that I talked about the other day. Lek, as in lection. Eclectic. Okay, so it's a power word. So dialectic means, the division of this amazing concept. That's one way it means. Okay, so Hegelian dialectic principle: problem, reaction, solution, thesis, antithesis, synthesis. Or we could say synthesis. Synthesis. The master-slave dialectic. The lordship-bondage dialectic. The revolutionaries within governments have waged covert war on the people by creating economic chaos, as in shortages of food, fuel, confiscatory taxation, a crisis in education, the continual threat of war, and other diversions to condition the people for the new world, old world, ancient occultic disorder of control. The technique is as old as is politics itself. It is the Hegelian principle, credited to G.W.F. Hegel, of bringing about change. Oh, there's that code word again, change in quotes, in a three-step process. Now here's where we get our change. Thesis, antithesis, synthesis or synthesis. First step, thesis, to generate a problem using their secret societies, troublemakers, agitators, covert operation. The second step, antithesis, is to create an opposition to that problem. Yeah, they control both sides. They control all sides. Even 3 sides or 4 sides, it don't matter. They'll control each side. That's their job. Okay, so antithesis is to create an opposition to that problem, such as with fear, panic, rumor, hysteria, and so on. The media is included in on the game. Third step, synthesis, is to offer up the solution to the very problem created in step 1, a very change that would have been impossible in any other way to impose on the people without the proper psychological conditioning achieved in stages 1 and 2. Applying the Hegelian principle and irresistible financial influence with, let's say that again, irresistible financial influence. Everybody has a price, they say, right? Maybe not. I lost my place here. Applying the Hegelian principle and irresistible financial influence with concealed matoids seek to dismantle social and political structures by which free men govern themselves. Witness the ancient landmarks that have been erected at the great cost of blood and possessions. They always want to build those war memorials, don't they? They just love it. It's their trophies. That's really what it is. Somebody pointed it out. I heard it a few weeks back. It's really their trophy. The war monuments are their trophy. Why would we want to remember war? They said the First World War was to end all wars, right? Didn't happen, right? It was a big lie. Always lying to us. So let me read that again. So, by which free men govern, try this again. Applying the Hegelian principle and irresistible financial influence with concealed matoids seek to dismantle social and political structures by which free men govern themselves. Witness the ancient landmarks that have been erected at the great cost of blood and possessions. Their prime objective is to infiltrate and permanently emasculate any potential sovereign state, emerge all nations under universal government, centralize all economic structures and powers, being in full control of all the world's people and resources. It is nothing other than perfected modern-day slavery. See Council on Foreign Relations. Europeans, peonage, silent weapons for quiet wars. So, and one code word here, I find it interesting with we use the word a lot, so I thought I should just define it. It's right here. Oh, and on the path to truth, okay, you're saying, thank you for all you're saying. Hi to me. I'd like to hear what our new friends have to say. I have been driving to work and could not respond. Oh, okay, on the path to truth, good to have you. Talk teaching is nice. This talk teaching is nice. Good job. Thank you so much. What state are you in on the path to truth? I'm just curious, what state are you in? And again, welcome. Good to have you. on the path. That's right. Very good. So it's interesting. So the word hemp, I want to show you an abbreviated word because, you know, that's what we talk about are the abbreviated words. So hemp, H-E-M-P, is two words. Okay? The H, remember, is the. It's the original for the. And then E-M-P. Well, it sounds like an acronym for electromagnetic pulse, but it's not in this instance. It is an abbreviation for empire. So literally, hemp means the empire. Why? Well, because hemp was the most important product out in Utah. Okay, love that state. I didn't spend enough time there when I was doing my travels in my early days, but a beautiful state, the state of beautiful arches, absolutely. And so the empire was the most important product and produce in the ancient world was the hemp. It was food. It was medicine. They made the canvas. That's where the word cannabis comes from. Canvas, or that's where the word canvas comes from. Comes from cannabis. You see, and so literally, hemp is an acronym or an abbreviation for the Empire of the L. Okay, L standing for the Illuminated, the Empire of the Illuminated. So this is the real legacy. So we can read a bit of the history by reading the word and get the picture. That's why, you know, in America they used to grow hemp in New Hampshire, and you know, in Maine, up in the northern states where they had the long sun, a lot of sunshine, you know, and in the summertime, and then they'd secretly bring it all back to Europe and sell it. You know, they were harvesting over here. This was their garden. This was their play. You know, they dug the mineral ore out of the earth, the copper, and the other things. You know, whatever they could exploit from the Americas, they were exploiting it and using it as a plantation over here. Then finally, they decided on their, you know, Francis Bacon's New Atlantis idea that he was going to perfect for the next 500-year cycle that is all over now, basically. You know, so so yeah, there you go. The Empire of the L. See, Canaanites, cannabis, Empire of the L, Hashishim, marijuana, Phoenicians, rope, and ships. Yeah, you know, the ships needed the hemp. They needed to make rope. They needed to you know, use the you know, the oil there's oil that comes out of the hemp, all that stuff. So this demonizing of our, you know, hemp has been the greatest scam on the people. Just another form of mind control, isn't it? Is it not, ladies and gentlemen? Another form. And by the way, I just remembered that I said we would do a special, and after you know, last night, then the second part of Stephen Jacobson's historical work. Tonight I'll do Wake Up America, exposing the deception of modern money. Okay, Wake Up America, and you'll know everything you ever want to know about money within this 1 hour presentation. Okay, it's even got it's just got really cool stuff in here. He'll keep you entertained while he's telling you some truth. So really powerful tonight. Stephen Jacobson, Wake Up America, exposing the deception of modern money. They killed us with the money, which is not money, because they took the money from us. But we can practically get rid of all of their nonsense and all their contracts and everything else, but it seems like we can never get rid of that funny money, right? Can't get rid of it. So follows us around everywhere we go, and that's a mark of the beast among many of the other marks of the beast. But Yeshua said, "Are you a slave? Okay, well then you don't seek to be free. Are you free? Then don't seek to be a slave." Pointing out to us that no matter what state we're in, we can still pay homage to Him, can worship Him, and no matter how limited we are in our scope, So there you go. Okay, so with the history of the church now, we're in Philo's extant works, and Philo is the most discussed and underrated of our time with Yeshua, because he was a friend of Yeshua's, and he was a genius. Okay, he would have been he's the ultimate scholar. Josephus don't even hold a candle to this Philo, and so you need to get the book, the works of Philo, from Christian Book Distributors, CBD.com. Tell you what, before I get into the read here, I just want to, it's not a very long one, and then we'll get into the original gospel and be done for our morning presentation. But I'm going to just go ahead and do a musical interlude, okay? And then we'll be right back with the Forbidden History, what they didn't want you to know, but we tell right here. You did tell your friends? For those who are tuning in for the first time, I highly recommend you go back to June 1st, 2018, just about a month ago, when we started I did my premiere on this new series of the Forbidden History series. Okay, because in those first 2 weeks, I unloaded some of the most important great lies of history and the things that we were denied and never told. So you just got to listen to those first 2 weeks, if not just start at the beginning, because it will blow your mind. Okay, Anna, last name in Finland we say 6-0. Okay, for 10-4, like the truckers in USA say 10-4, and over there they say 6-0. Huh? Okay, thank you for that. I didn't realize you were in Finland, Anna. I forgot. Okay, learned something new today. And welcome back to the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. Good to have you. Nice to meet so many wonderful people that care about life and just want peace and love, and they're throwing their hearts around, and you know, gentle people, and then we got these people that think they're better than everybody else, and they're going to tell you what to do, and make a criminal out of you just because you're there. You know what I mean? Just because you're there, criminal. In fact, what's interesting in the courtroom in France, let love's light through the darkness and shine forevermore. Amen. Amen, Sandra. So what's interesting in the court system in France, when they bring the prisoner in, they would never call him by his name. They'd always call him the prisoner, bring the prisoner, and or copy that, right? And this is how they denigrate. They denigrate by not allowing for normal, and just like they put you in the orange pumpkin suit, when they arrest you, to make you feel like a pumpkin, so that you're, and all the other tricks they play. It's just to break you down, to break you down, to break you down, to break you down. That's the way they do it. They break you down. Finally, you give up and you say, okay, where do I sign? Give me the dotted line, But we've got to break them down by asking questions, not answering questions, and knowing who we are, where we are, when we are, and why we are. Okay? So, Philo's extant works, which I'm trying to get into the read. I've done a couple so far in the evenings, and I'm still trying to find my rhythm and my balance. But it's coming, okay? It's we got a long way to go, ladies and gentlemen, and a short time to get there. Breaker, okay, 42. A copious writer and thinker of wide range, studying the sacred script from a lofty and elevated viewpoint, Philo expounded the sacred books from many different angles. At one stage, he carried out his detailed examination of Bereshith, Genesis, in systematic order. In fact, that's the book we're in right now, is On the Creation, his first book in his collection, On the Creation. In the books which we entitled Allegories of the Sacred Laws, at another he carefully arranged under chapter headings the difficulties in the scriptures, stating them and offering his solution in the books, to which he gave the titles of Question and Answers in Genesis and Questions and Answers in Exodus. In addition to these, there are authoritative works by him on special problems, e.g., 2 on farming, 2 on drunkenness, and others with various appropriate titles, such as What the Sober Mind Desires and Detests, The Confounding of Tongues, Flight and Discovery, Study Groups, Who Inherits the Treasures of Yavohe, or the division into equivalents and opposites. And again, the 3 cardinal virtues propounded by Moshe El. In addition to these, there is his new names and why they were given, in which he states that he also composed covenants, book 1 and book 2. There are also works of his on immigration, life of a wise man perfected in the perfection of light, or unwritten laws, giants, or the immutability of the Godhead, and the Mosaic conviction that dreams are sent from Yahweh, books 1 through 5. These are the books that have come into my hands dealing with Bereshith. On Exodus, I am acquainted with Questions and Answers, books 1 through 5, the tabernacle, the Ten Commandments, laws classified under the appropriate headings of the Decalogue, books 1 through 4, sacrificial animals and varieties of sacrifice, and how the law rewards virtue and punishes and denounces vice. His extant writings also include single volumes, e.g., the Statesman, the Essay on Providence, and another work, the Eudeans, also Alexander, or Rational Behavior in Irrational Animals. Nor must we forget Every Bad Man is a Slave, followed by Every Good Man is Free. Or good would have been probably Every Perfect Man is free. Then came the Contemplative Life, or Suppliants, from which I have quoted passages describing life in the apostolic community, interpretations of Hebrew names or titles in the law, and the Navigators, prophets, is also said to be his work. In Gaius's time, he came to Rome and wrote an account of that monarch's revolting conduct, which characterized with characteristic irony, entitling it Virtue. It is stated that when Claudius came to the throne, Philo read this work from end to end and at a full meeting of the Roman Senate, and that his writings were so greatly admired that they were honored with a place in the libraries. At this time, while Paul was completing his journey from Jerusalem by a roundabout route as far as Illyricum, Claudius expelled the Eudeans from Rome, and Aquila and Priscilla, with the other Eudeans, left Rome and sailed to Asia Minor, where they stayed with Shaul Paul, the royal messenger, or aka apostle, who was busy strengthening the foundations of the body of the called out ones, the perfect circle, churches, foundations laid by himself not long before. Our source of information is the inspired narrative of the Acts. And coming up next will be disaster in Jerusalem at the Passover and events there in Nero's reign. I just want to add that the word Jew has become so part of the the fabric that in here, of course, when I'm reading Jew, I'm just simply transliterating it Judean, because as one of my presentations, you very well know that the word Jew never existed up until 1,000 years ago, and Jew has nothing to do with anything with Israel or our story. They are surplanters. They took over, right? They're the bankers. They're the money men, the merchants for the Vatican, for the beast system. And so just be aware. So whenever you read Jew in any of your works, you need to transliterate it correctly as Judean. They put themselves in our book because they control the translations. Okay. So that's the history of the church by Eusebius for this morning, and then we have one more short read, and this will be the most challenging chapter in the entire original gospel. It's a very deep chapter, and I have a lot of notes with it. So let me give it a shot here, okay? So I'll go slow because I want to look at my notes and want to say it correctly. I need a little more light. And want to welcome our new listeners to the broadcast. You are tuned in right here to the realpublicradio.net, Free America Radio Network. And I am your host, Desert Owl, bird who sees in the night, and I've been studying too long. And one other thing, by the way, again, because I just read to you about Philo, if you want to get a copy of Philo, then go to cbd.com. That's Christian Book Distributors, cbd.com. They're out of Peabody, Massachusetts, and you can get Philo probably for about $12, $13 with shipping. It's a big book, and it's a great price for such 1,000 pages, practically 8.5 by 11, 1,000 pages. and I never read commentaries. I never cared what people had to say. I only read the scriptures. That's all I cared about. I want to know what the scriptures say, and then I can see and read it for myself. But Philo was the exception, for the commentary, because I knew that if he was a friend of Yeshua, he hung out there at the Alexandrian Library, and he wrote this enormous work called the Works of Philo. Then obviously he's the best one to read. That which is the most ancient obviously would be the most superior, and not some modern Coverdale opinionated or propagandized Jesuit commentary. I don't want to read men's commentaries. I read scriptures, and that's what you need to do, ladies and gentlemen, is read those scriptures and define those words, because Yeshua is your seed planter. He is your teacher. He is your tree of knowledge. You go to him, and he will show you. He will show you. Put him to the test. Okay, give him a shot at connecting with you and turning the pages for you, because he will do that. That's the great miracle that's happened in my life. And I know I wasn't smart, so it comes down to being touched and being connected with the great light of the wind and fire. Okay, so we have two elements that we'll be talking about in here in this chapter 22, which is the number of perfection. And interestingly, it's the most interesting chapter of them all in here out of the 182 chapters in the original gospel. And by the way, for anybody who needs to get a copy of this work for free download, a PDF, go to therealpublicradio.net /original_gospel.html. That's the realpublicradio.net /original_gospel.html. Okay, and you can get that. Scroll to the bottom of the page. There's a free PDF download. Click on the book called Aquarian Gospel, and you can get that 1919 reprint version. Okay, 1919 reprint version at Amazon. So with two primary words, we're dealing with this power. When it's in reference to power, it's the lower. But when we're talking about force, then it's the invisible realm of the great power of the great spirit. So let me try to plow through here. Among the Amun Kolnun priests at Yelganath was one who loved the Judean boy. Lama Brahma was the name by which the Amun priest he was known. Let me do one thing. Hang on a second. Getting hot here today. So one day Yeshua and Lama walked along the plaza Yelganath. And Lama breathed, "My Judean mother star, what is truth?" And Yeshua breathed, "Truth is the only thing that does not change. In all the world, there are only two things. The one is truth, and the other is falsehood. And truth is that which seems, and truth is that which always remains, and falsehood is merely that which seems to be. Now, truth is found in everything, and yet has no cause by itself, and yet is the very cause for everything. Falsehood is empty, void, and yet it is the manifestation of everything." Stand by. Falsehood is nothing. And yet it is the manifestation of everything. Wow. Whatever has been made will be dissolved. That which begins, or that which has a beginning, must have an end. That is the cycle of this universe, ladies and gentlemen, other than our spirit. All things that can be seen by the natural eyes are the expressions of the all and are merely illusions, and so they must pass away. The things we see are but the reflections, just appearing for a moment, while the ethers vibrate in different projections on and on into endless streams. And when the conditions change, then they disappear. The only true anointed pure great breath of light on the wind and wings of fire throughout all time, the holy breath, is the truth, is that which was, that which is, and evermore will be. It cannot change nor pass away. Lama, breathe. You answer very well. Now, what is blood of the earth? Man. And Yeshua breathed, blood of the earth is the truth, and falsehood strangely mixed in a great mystery. Blood of the earth is the breath made into flesh. So truth and falsehood are co-joined within him. And then they struggle. And the emptiness is reduced and dissolved. And then blood of the earth as truth will remain. Once again, Lama asked, what do you say about energy? And Yeshua breathed. It is the manifestation. Actually, I should have said power here, but it's the lower power. It's the, of this world, not the supernatural. That's the distinction here with this word power. Okay, and what do you say about this power on the earth? And Yeshua breathed. It is a manifestation. It is the result of natural force. It is but nothing. It is merely illusion, nothing more. Forces do not change, but power changes. So the force is the breath, the invisible realm. That's the distinction I had to make here. So force, the invisible force of the eternal does not change, but the earthly powers change as the ethers change. Okay, so obviously we see that all the time, whether we're talking about governments or we're talking about nature. The storm comes and the storm goes. So the temporal force comes by the will of Yahweh, the temporal force. Or no, I'm sorry. That's why I got to redraft this one day. I've got all these notes in here, and it's challenging to read and also to read it with my notes. So the force of the invisible realm is the will of Yahweh and is omnipotent. And power, the earthly power, is that will being revealed, just like the great flood of Noah, or right, the Exodus and the parting of the waters. Okay, that is directed by the breath, by the great breath of the wind and fire. There is a temporary power in the winds, a temporary power in the waves, a temporary power in the lightning strike, a temporary power in the earthly arm, and a temporary power in the eye. Just need to take a note here. Okay. And the ethers cause these temporary powers to be. And the thought of Elohim, and here literally he's got Elohim, you see, showing this as an original root document. Elohim. Okay, and let me try this again. And the ethers cause these temporary powers to be, And then the thoughts of Elohim and of the royal messenger, blood of the earth or other thinking thing directs the force, the temporary force. When it has done its work, then the temporary force, or the temporary power, excuse me, is no more. Again, Lama asked of the inner comprehension, what do you have to say of knowing and of knowledge? And Yeshua breathed, it is the foundation, the rock on which blood of the earth builds himself. Okay, knowledge. It is the knowledge of the everything and of what is nothing, of falsehood and of truth from the tree's root. It is the knowledge of the lower self, the sensing of the powers of blood of the earth himself. Again, Lama asked, of wisdom, what do you have to breathe? And Yeshua breathed, it is the consciousness that blood of the earth is an extension of everything, and that Yavohe and blood of the earth are one. And that's talking about our spirit now. That nothing is from nothing, but the great power, and that the temporal power is but illusion, and that paradise and earth and the grave are not above, around, or below, but within, hiding within, which in the light of everything becomes as nothing. But Yavohe is everything. And Lama asked, create light. What is the victory of light? And Yeshua breathed, the victory of light is the surety of the omnipotence of Yavohe and blood of the earth. The certainty that blood of the earth will reach the deific life. Soul novation, salvation, is the ladder reaching up from the heart of blood of the earth to the heart of the great Elohim. It has 3 steps. Belief is the first, and this is what man thinks perhaps is the truth, like I think so, belief. And the victory of light, or conviction, conviction is next in line. And this is what blood of the earth knows, what he knows to be the truth. No longer I think so. Then fruition, the fruit, comes at the very end. And this is when blood of the earth himself becomes the truth. So belief is lost in conviction. That's the victory of light. And in this fruition is then lost, because blood of the earth is saved when he has reached the deific life. And that is when he and Yahweh then become one. Okay? So that's the great mystery, ladies and gentlemen. And it's absolutely deep. When one starts reading this document and realizes how deep it goes, there is no no other way to state it than this is the original gospel, totally synoptic. I could give you one more example. How about I did a read this morning, further on in the book, and I thought I might like to share it with you. So let me see if I can find the page here. Okay, here it is. So, and this is into the story now. The last 3, at the time when Yeshua is being betrayed, and it's quite a story. And I thought of you all this morning when I was reading it, because I know that you're not privy, unless you have a copy now, but you're not privy to this writing. And so I wanted to um, hear this because this is the episode right when Pilate wants to save Yeshua from the Sanhedrin and the Pharisee. Okay, and so this is a very good one, and I just thought I'd share that with you. So let me take a sip. Hope everybody's doing okay out there. Well, thank you for all the comments and all of the you know, all your thoughts out there. I really do appreciate it. I'm very motivated by um, sharing with so many wonderful people around the world here. It's no longer a big world, it's a small world where we can talk to each other instantly. It's amazing. Okay, so this is in chapter 163. I just will give you a little preview here. As Yeshua and the 11, this is right after what we call the Last Supper. As Yeshua and the 11 went out, a Roman guard approached and breathed, "All hail. Is one of you the blood of the earth from Galilee?" And Kefe breathed, "We are all blood of the earth from Galilee. Whom are you looking for?" And the guard replied, "I seek for Yeshua, who is called the Mashiach." And Yeshua answered, "I am here." And the guard spoke out and breathed, "I do not come in an official way. I bear to you a message from the governor, Pilate. Jerusalem is all astir with vengeful Judeans who swear that they will take your life. So Pilate wishes to speak with you, and he wants you to go to have you come to him without any delay." And Yeshua breathed to Kefe and the rest, "Go to the valley, and by the Kidron wait for me, and I will go alone and see the governor." And Yeshua went up with the guard, and when he reached the palace, Pilate met him at the entrance gate and breathed, "Young man, I have a word to say that may be very important for you to hear. I have observed your works and your words for over 3 years now, and I have often stood in your defense when your own countrymen would fain have stoned you as a blasphemer. But now the Amen Kolnun, the priests, the scribes, and the Pharisee have stirred the zealots and the common people to a stage of frenzied rage, of vengeance, and they intend to take your life, because they say that you have sworn to tear their temple down, to change the laws of Moshe which he gave, to exile Pharisee and Amen priests, and seat yourself upon a throne. And they swear that you are fully in league with Rome. The streets of all Jerusalem are filled this very moment with a horde of madmen, all intent on shedding your blood. There is no safety for you here, but only in flight. Do not wait until the morning sun comes up. You know the way to reach the border of this cursed land. I have a small attachment of guards with horses and arms, and they are ready to take you out beyond the reach of harm's way. You must not stay here. Young man, you must rise up and go now." And Yeshua breathed, "A noble prince has Caesar in his Pilate Pontius. And from the point of carnal blood of the earth, your words are seasoned with a wise man's salt. But from the point of the Mashiach, your words are foolishness. The coward flees when danger approaches, but the one who comes to seek to and save the lost must give his life as a willing sacrifice for those he comes to seek and save. Before the Pesach has been consumed, it is truth, all of this nation will be cursed by shedding the blood of innocents. And even now the murderers are standing at the door. And Pilate breathed, it will not be. The sword of Rome will be ready and unsheathed to save your life. And Yeshua breathed, no, Pilate, no. There are no armies large enough in all the world to save my life. And then Yeshua bade the governor farewell, and he went his way. But Pilate sent a double guard with him, lest he should fall into the hands of those who were alert and looking to take his life. But in a moment, Yeshua disappeared, and the guards could see him no more. And in a short order, he reached the brook of Kedron, where the 11 were waiting. Now, just beyond the brook, there was an orchard and a home where one Masaleon lived, where Yeshua often stayed. Masaleon was his friend, and he followed that Yeshua was the Mashiach, that Yeshua, that the Judean navigators or prophets long ago had said would come. Now, in the orchard was a sacred knoll. Masaleon called the place Gethsemane. The night was dark, but in the orchard it was doubly dark, and Yeshua bade the 8 truth seekers stay by the brook. And while he went with Kephe, Yaakov, and Yalkanon, and went to Gethsemane to create light. And they sat beneath an olive tree. And Yeshua opened up the mysteries of life to Kephe, Yaakov, and Yalkanon, and he breathed. The spirit of eternity is one and yet unrevealed. And this is the Yavohe, the Father, Alavhe, the Mother, and the great Elohim, the Son, in one, in life of manifestations. The one became the three, and Yahweh, the Father, is the great Elohim of might, and Alahe, the mother, that's the woman that Israel was serving. Alahe. They never told you that, did they? No, because they changed the word to God. Alahe is the mother, that virgin goddess symbolically of Israel that became a whore. And she is omniscient in the duality, you see. She serves a purpose. The woman serves the purpose. Women have a very important symbolic expression behind them. And so Yahweh and the Son, therefore, is the divine love. And Yahweh, the Father, is the power of the sun and the moon and the earth. And Elahe, the mother, is the manifestation. Remember, they said, show us the Father. They knew who their mother was. They were saying, show us the Father. And he says, how long have I been with you and you didn't know me? And the Father is the only true anointed, pure, great breath of light, the holy breath, the Holy Spirit. And through the sun, earth, and moon, and great Elohim, the Son, S-O-N, and the only loved seed is the Mashiach, the only loved seed. And Mashiach is divine love. I came as blood of the earth to reveal this divine love to blood of the earth. As blood of the earth, I have been subject to all the trials and temptations of the earthly race. But I have overcome the flesh. and the serpent, which is the flesh, with all its passions and its appetites. What I have done, all men must do. And I am now about to demonstrate the power of blood of the earth to conquer death. For every blood of the earth is Yahweh made flesh. So I will lay down my life, but I will take it and receive it back again, so that you may know the great mystery of life, of death, and of the resurrection from this death. I will lay myself down in the flesh, but I will rise up in the spirit with the great power to reveal myself beyond mortal eyes that they can see. So in a trinity, in 3 days and 3 nights, I will show forth all of life, the all of death, the meaning of the resurrection from the dead. And what I do, all men can do. And you, my three, who constitute the inner circle of the body of the called out, the perfect circle of the Mashiach, will show to blood of the earth the attributes of all of the Elohim, the enlightened ones, the seed of the sun. And Kefe will make known the power of Yahweh, and Yaakov, the seed of light, will show the thought of Yahweh, and Yalkanan will demonstrate the travain love of Yahweh. Do not be afraid of blood of the earth, for you have been sent forth to do the mighty works of Yahweh, the Father, Allah, the Mother, and the great Elohim, the Son. And all the powers of the carnal life cannot destroy your life until your work is done. I leave you now, and I will go out into the darkness all alone and speak with Yahweh. By sorrow I am overcome. I leave you here to watch with me. Then Yeshua went 300 cubits toward the east and fell upon his face, and he created light. And he breathed. My Eloi, there is a way by which I may escape. Is there a way by which I may escape the horrors of the coming hour? My earthly flesh shrinks back, but my shul is firm. My mind is firm, and not my will, but only your will, true, perfect, and complete, Yahweh, be done. In agony he created light, and the strain upon his earthly form was great, and his veins were bulging out like they wanted to burst, and his brow and his face were as red as blood. And then he went back to the three and found them all asleep, and he breathed. Perfect Shimon, are you sleeping? Can't you not watch with me for a single hour? Be vigilant and watch and create light, that your temptation are not too great for you to bear in your own walk. I know that the Spirit, the great breath of the wind and fire, is alert and sound and willing, but the flesh is weak. And then he went again and created light, true, perfect, and complete Father, Yahweh. If I must drink this bitter cup, give me the strength of body, as I have the strength of shul, of mind. For not my will, but yours be done. And then he went again to his truth seekers, the Mathaim. Is it true? It is true. He found them still asleep and woke them up and breathed to Yaakov. Have you been sleeping while your mother's star has been wrestling with the greatest enemy of mankind, the serpent flesh? Could you not watch with me a single hour? And then he went up again and created light once more. True, perfect, and complete, Yahweh. I surrender before you. Your will be done. And then again he went back to the three. And still they were sleeping. And the eye breathed to Yochanan, with all the love you have for me, could you not watch with me a single hour? And then he breathed, it is enough. The hour has now arrived, and my betrayer is at the door. Rise up and let us go out. And when they came again to the Kidron, it is truth that the 8 big truth seekers were asleep. And Yeshua breathed, you blood of the earth, wake up. You must see and read it for yourself. The betrayer of the seed of the Son has now arrived. 164. It's a real short one. We're almost done here. The healer and pure breather of light with the 11 were in the orchard of Mesalan. And as they talked, they saw a band of blood of the earth with lanterns and with swords and clubs approaching them. And Yeshua breathed, you must see and read it for yourself, the emissaries of the blind one. And Judas leads the way. And the truth seekers breathe, healer, pure breather of light, let us run to save our lives. But Yeshua breathed, why should we run to save our lives when this is the fulfillment of the shavors, of the navigators, and of the visionaries? And Yeshua went alone to meet the blood of the earth. And as they came up to him, he breathed, why are you here, blood of the earth? Who is it you are looking for? And they replied, we are looking for the blood of the earth from Galilee. We seek for Yeshua, the one who calls himself the Moshiach. And Yeshua replied, here I am. And then he raised his hands, and with a mighty thought, he brought the ethers to a state of light, and all the orchard was glowing with light. And the terrified men were driven back, and many fled and did not stay until they reached Jerusalem. They didn't stop until they reached Jerusalem. And others fell upon their faces on the ground. But the bravest of these blood of the earth and those with the hardest hearts remained. And when the light had faded, the healer and pure breather of light again asked them, who is it that you are looking for? And Ananias breathed, we are looking for the blood of the earth from Galilee. We seek for Yeshua, the I who calls himself the Moshiach. And Yeshua replied to him and breathed, I told you once before already, but I will tell you again that I am the one. By Ananias, Judas stood, and for a moment he had disappeared, but then coming up behind the healer and pure breather of light, he breathed, my healer and pure breather of light. And then he kissed him as a sign that he was Yeshua, who they were seeking. And Yeshua breathed, do you from the Issachari patriots come and betray in this way your mother's star with a kiss? This act needed to be accomplished, but judgment has been predetermined for him who does the betrayal of his healer and pure breather of light. Your carnal greed has burned your conscience, and you do not know what it is you are doing. But in a little while, your conscience will assert itself, and in a great regret, it is truth, you will close this span of time on earth and take your life. Then the 11 came and laid hold of Judah and would have done him harm, but Yeshua breathed, "You must not harm this blood of the earth. You have no right to condemn this blood of the earth. His conscience will be his condemnation. It will sentence him, and then he will execute himself." And then the mob, led on by Malchus, the servant of Caiaphas, grabbed hold of Yeshua and was binding him with chains. And Yeshua breathed, "Why do you come in the dark of night with swords and clubs to take me in this sacred grove? Have I not spoken in the public places of Jerusalem? Have I not healed your sick and opened up the eyes of the blind and made your lame to walk and your deaf to hear? You could have found me any day you wanted. And now you attempted to bind me down with chains. What are these chains but links of reeds?" And then he raised his hands, and the chains were broken, and they fell down to the ground. And Malchus thought that the healer and pure breather of light would run to save his life, and with a club he was getting ready to strike him in the face. But Caiaphas had a sword, and rushing up, he then struck the blood of the earth and wounded him by cutting off his ear. But Yeshua breathed, "Stop, Caiaphas, stop. Put up your shavor. You are not called out to fight with shavors and clubs. Whoever wields the shavor will perish by the shavor," the sword. There's the word. "I do not need protection by the seed of the moon, for I could call this very moment a legion, 12 legions of royal messengers of Israel that follow Yahweh, who would come and stand in my defense. But then that would not be good for the purpose of Yahweh." And then he breathed to Malchus, "Blood of the earth, I would not have you harmed." And then he laid his hand upon the wound that Caiaphas had made, and it was immediately healed. Then Yeshua breathed. Oh, by the way, the symbolic, the ear being cut off was symbolic of the fact that Judah could not hear. Okay, it was symbolic in that regard. Okay, and then Yeshua breathed, "Do not be concerned, lest I should break away and run from you and to save my life. I have no wish to save my life. Do with me as you will." And then the mob, the band of soldiers rushed upon him to seize the 11 and to take them back as well to stand for trial and as the aides of Yeshua in his crimes. But the truth seekers, the Mathaim disciples, every one of them then ran and deserted Yeshua, and they fled to save their own lives. Now Yochanan was the last to run, and the band laid hold on him and tore apart his garments to shreds, but he escaped in nakedness. And Massillon then found him and took him to his home and gave him other clothes. And then he followed after them, who led the healer and pure breather of light away. And SKYPE was ashamed because of his weak cowardice. And when he was by himself again, when he came to himself again, he joined with Yalkanan and followed close behind the band until they came to Jerusalem. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the forbidden history. What they didn't want you to know. But you heard right here. Yes, the truth is stranger than fiction. I love the reality. I love the lost writings that breathe the truth of light that we all need. Don't forget, tonight we have a special Wake Up America, and that would include the rest of the world because it's the same issue. It's the funny money. Only problem is it's not funny because it's been the death knell of our planet and how they have deceived the entire world just another way. So don't forget, that's at 9 p.m. Eastern Time tonight. I want to thank all of you for tuning in. I want to thank our new listeners for stopping by. And thank you, Mew Mew. Very nice. And let's have a revival in thinking, ladies and gentlemen. We can see and read things for ourselves. We don't need people to tell us what is right, what is up, what is down, what is in, what is out. They want to control our thinking. But Yeshua is the author of our life. Thank you, Ninja. And like I said, don't forget, you're always welcome to call if you're having a further struggle with your situation. And that's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. Do tell your friends, and don't forget, if you're ever wanting to know the future, then you need to look for the Forbidden History right here, twice a day, 9 a.m., 9 p.m. Eastern Time, on the RealPublicRadio.net, Free America Radio Network. I'm Desert Owl, thanking you for tuning in. And thank you, Anna, as well, and all of you. Peace and love.